So I was down here the other day, and this is Dale Hodges Park down the bottom here, and somebody asked me whether I could do a little bit more video of the area because it's somewhere they'd never been. I'll just put my glasses away, you can probably tell. It's somewhere that they'd never been, and they didn't really know much about it, but they wanted to come and have a look. So I thought, oh well, my plan today was, since the fire ban is now over in the mountains, was to head out to the mountains, have a nice relaxing campfire, and just have a relaxing day in the mountains. However, broke a rear spring in the back of my car, so I thought, oh well, I'll go and fix that tomorrow. So I'm not going to drive out to the mountains on very rough roads with a broken spring. That's never a good idea. Even though the car is still drivable, I'm not going to risk it. So I've come down to Dale Hodges Park. I'm just going to do a look around here. Where I'm stood was would have been the edge of the glacial lake. If you look on the far side, over there in the distance on the hill, that's the ski jump where Eddie the Eagle did his jump. That road that goes up across the middle of the picture there, that is the what's that, Sassy Trail. It heads off up the hill there, and down in the bottom here, this was all the waterways that I was showing you the other day. I came in from that end, just walked around, went over the bridges in the middle there, got attacked by the birds. But as you can see, there are a lot more reed beds and waterways down in the bottom of there than what I showed in that original video. So somebody wanted to know if there was more, and there is more, much more. Yeah. Over on the bank over there, there's a nesting site over there. I don't know if you can see it because the sun might be on the lens there. There's a nesting site all along the hills there. But as you can see, it's a long way down there. It's quite deceptive. That way heads off downtown. I can't see the top of the skyscrapers from here. I can if I move a little bit further across, but I can't quite see them from here. Yeah, that's the Bow River down in the bottom. Like I say, this is a big area that doesn't really have much in it, and it's I'm sure they could actually do more with that. I'm not sure what the plan is for that. So my plan today is to head along here, and I'm going to head down into the park. You can see the reed beds and everything down in the bottom. That's used for the filtration. Down in the bottom there, this is very steep. I'm being very careful on this edge because this edge is really steep, and I kid you not, it is basically a cliff. It just goes straight down, so be very careful along this edge. They do have a lot of it actually fenced off along here just for safety. Yeah, right. The pathway that runs along in the distance over there, I can't see anybody on it at the moment. That is part of the Trans-Canada Trail. So if you come across Canada on the Trans-Canada Trail, that is somewhere you will come. Right, so I'm going to head along here. I'm going to head a bit further up, and I'm going to come down into the park at the far side. So let me get sorted and I'll go and do that. Right, well, I've arrived down at what's called the Nautilus Pond. All the ducks are making a racket in the middle there. Yeah, this was the piece I didn't really show a lot of this the other week when I was down, because I normally come through a back way to get to here. I'll show you where that is. It's a great system, this is. It really is a great system. Yeah, water comes down through here into the settlement pond over here. They call this the Nautilus Pond. It's actually very nice. It's a nice walk. It combines two things in one. It gives you a great place for habitat. It's basically a water filtration plant, that's what it is. But instead of using chemicals and big tanks and all that other good stuff, use natural processes like reeds. Yeah, I can tell you now, reeds, the water reeds, bulrushes, whatever people would like to call them, I can tell you now, those things are amazingly good at pulling garbage out of water. They really are. Yeah. And you come down here, all I can hear is birds and ducks. if you're into bird watching, this is an amazing place to come. It really is. I've seen people sat down here for hours with cameras and what have you. Yeah. The way I normally come into this pond, if you watch the previous video, you'll see that I mentioned that I come in the back way to the pond. I'll show you where that is. It's just over here. It's the way I prefer to come into here because it kind of cuts the corner off. Yeah. Saves me walking a bit of a distance. Right, so this is the pond. I'm just going to head up this little piece of bank here, because this is the way I normally come in here. Right, so there's the pond. That's the Nautilus pond. Apologies for the sun. I came down the path that's over that side, and how I normally come in here is this way. Yeah. This is actually quite a nice little walk through here, but it does cut off a huge corner. As you can see, people always make what we call desire paths to where they want to go, and there are other paths that go off up through here. There's paths everywhere down through here, literally loads of them. And this is in the city of Calgary. You know, this is not out in the middle of bloody nowhere. This is the city of Calgary. We have a huge amount of what I would call natural green spaces, and they are looking at expanding that. So I just completed a survey thing for the city here about expanding green spaces into more of this. So instead of having areas that are mown and, you know, nice flower beds and what have you, there are places that are like that. Trust me, each city does need that, but it also means more wild spaces like this. Yeah. The only thing is, we had torrential rain last night and I'm now getting wet. But I will soon be out of this piece. Yeah. Yes, this is a well-used shortcut, that's for sure. Bit squishy in here today. Should have seen the rain we got last night, which is great. We do need it. Oh my god, don't we just? We had, for most of July actually, it was pretty much bone dry and a serious fire hazard. So yeah. So this is an old gravel pit that's been reclaimed, and this is what it was reclaimed into. It's nice, isn't it? Yeah. This is what cities need. They need more of this, less concrete, more of this. There's the ski tower over there through the trees. This is the way I normally come into here. I normally come down across the path that way. Today I'm going to go that way. Yeah. Because the grass is less tall, so I will get less wet walking through the grass. Like I say, I really wanted to be out in the mountains today, and that was my plan. I had all my kit bags and everything all packed up, ready to go, heading off to the mountains, have a nice quiet day in the mountains. And hey presto, driving home yesterday, I could hear this clunk, clunk, clunk every time I went over a bump. So I stopped and looked, and the bottom part of one of the coil springs had snapped off, which is not I mean, if you didn't know, you'd never know, and I could probably continue to drive it for some time because it's still well supported. However, because I now know it's broken, me being me, I now had to fix it because I don't like broken things. Yeah, lots of people out and about for walks. Like I say, this is part of the Trans-Canada Trail, and it's also part of the what's called the Greenway around Calgary. There's a huge number of bike paths around Calgary. They go everywhere. Yeah, and my trousers are now soaked. Yes, so I'm now down the bottom. I'm very close to where the river is, so I'm just going to continue down this way a little bit, see if I can get down to the river itself. I believe there is a little pathway goes in here. Let me just have a look. Ooh, yes, this looks like it. Let me just head in here. There are a million paths in here. I mean, there's the main path that goes all the way through, and then obviously the ones that go through the gravel paths. But if you just want to walk through the bushes and, you know, a bit of quiet time and just wander around, get away from the city for a bit, it's a great place to come. I honestly don't know why more people don't come here. It is a bit of a hidden gem. It's one of those places that's a little bit harder to get to than some of the easy to park places, because you have to walk basically to where you need to go. There's see, there's trails everywhere, pathways everywhere in here. Yeah. Ooh, river's flowing pretty good. Let's have a look. Oh, we did get some rain last night. We got a lot of rain by the look of it. Yeah. Didn't we just? Yeah. Now you've got the gravel bar on the island over there, and where I'm stood, this used to be a big gravel bar. It just shows you how quickly things change, eh? Yep, this used to be a great big gravel bar right here, right on this junction. But the gravel gets washed around, that's what rivers do. So, I will get out of this mess. I would normally continue down there, but I think I'm going to get soaked if I go down there. What do you reckon? Yeah, let's go and have a look. It's a bit adventurous. This will take me to where I want to go anyway. I just don't know how wet I'm going to get in there. Yep. There are many nice places down in here. There used to be a really big gravel bar along here. Woohoo! Wow, did it ever get washed out? Yeah. Yeah, right where I'm stood, right here, was a huge gravel bar. Yeah. Well, I'll be. Like I say, there's many great places along here. You can just come and have a look and sit down and do bugger all, basically. Yeah. Just want to sit by a nice quiet river. There's lots of places in here. Oh, there's a bit of the gravel bar left, look. Yeah, hey, there's a corner. Yeah, this whole thing here used to go way further out. Yeah. Ah, nice. Oh, there's a bit of it left. So that's good. Now you've got to be careful not to get cut off here. Down to the side. Looks like we got some reasonable pathways, so that's good. Yeah. Let's head down along here a bit. You'll find loads of these gravel bars along the side of the river, but don't always count on them being there, because one good downpour and hey presto, they're gone. So just going to make sure I'm not cutting myself off on a little island here. Somebody did ask me if I could show a little bit more of the park. So this is some of the less trodden areas, I guess you'd say. Yeah. The path less taken. Anybody that knows me knows I like to walk. That's pretty cool. I just spotted something out in the river. How did they build that? Yeah, it shows you how quickly the water moves up and down here. Look at that. Somebody built that out in the water. That is pretty cool. I like that. Yes, very nice. Well, I'll be. Yeah. Yeah, this water in here, the river, can really go up and down very, very fast. So you have to be a little bit careful. Ah, what have we got here? A chair. Yeah. Or a log chair. Yeah. That's very nice. Other than all the millions of bugs. It's very nice. Yeah. Yes. That is very cool. Like it. Surprised I haven't seen any early morning boaters coming down here yet. There will be later. It's a nice sunny day. There'll be loads of people out and about on the river today, that is for sure. Yeah. Yes, very nice. Yeah. So this piece I'm stood on, you know, you get a really good downpour. This piece could very quickly end up covered in water. So you always make sure you can just get back up the bank over there somewhere. Yeah. This river is man-managed. It's not a natural flow river. There is obviously a natural flow to the river, but it is mostly controlled, and that's a very good thing. Yeah. Oh, I see some people fishing out there in the middle of the river. Now, isn't that a good fishing spot? Nice. Don't know how well it will show up on the camera down there, but there's a bunch of people fishing down there. This is one of the best fishing rivers in the world. People come from all over the world to fish this river because it's basically glacial water. It's always cold water, so we get really good fish in here. Yeah. So I will head back up off the gravel bar, see if I can find a less wet route through the trees. Not no wet, just less wet. Yeah. Because I'm going to get soaked walking through here. But either way, if I was out in the mountains walking through the bushes, I'd get soaked there, so what's the difference? Difference is I didn't have to drive 50 kilometres to get there, I guess. Yeah. Yep. We are very lucky. Ah, yuck. Right on my head. Yeah, it's got dripped on. We're very lucky to live where we do. So I will get back out onto the pathways. And what I'm going to do this time is go right up to the far end and walk back along the top of the park. So I will get out of this. Yeah. Yeah, this is what you got to be careful of. If you walk too far down the gravel, you end up getting cut off by the water. So, yeah. Oh, that's better. Not so many bushes on this piece. Yeah. So I will head back up into the park, into Dale Hodges Park, and we can go from there. The other video that I did down in here, I was mentioning about a very active beaver population. You can always see the beaver slide across here and into the water. Right, so if you look in here, you'll find the trees have all been chomped up. The beavers have chewed all these down, got rid of these. These things grow so fast. I mean, it's important to have the beavers in here. So what beavers do, they don't just chop down trees. If you look at the branches, what they'll do is they will take those branches with all the leaves on it, take it out into the water out there somewhere, and bury it on the bottom of the water, literally stick it into the mud on the bottom of the water. And they do that because in the winter, when it all freezes over, that is their food supply. It's all buried under the ice. So if you ever go to a beaver pond, if you put on a snorkel and what have you, you'll be pretty brave, because beavers do protect their food source, let me tell you, don't they just? Yeah. So yeah, somewhere out in the middle of that lot, there will be a whole bunch of those aspen branches buried on the bottom of rivers and ponds and stuff, and that's what they do. They stick them in the mud on the bottom, and in the winter, that is their food supply. Because obviously, when it's underwater, it doesn't decompose. Yeah, beavers are very, very smart. They've been doing it for a long time. The leaves and stuff, they don't decompose. They still stay good because they're underwater, no oxygen. Yeah, and the less oxygen there is, the less they decompose. So decomposition is basically oxidization, thinking it that way. So if you can remove the oxygen, you reduce the speed of decomposition. So yeah, they bury it on the bottom in the winter. They do rest a lot during the winter. They kind of hibernate, but they're not inactive, they are less active. Same with bears. Bears are not inactive in winter. People think they sleep all winter, set their alarm clock for spring, and then wake up. You know, that's good in Disney, but that's not in the real world. That's not what they do. So bears are active in the winter, and you've got to be careful of them in the winter too, because they're a little on the grumpy side and they're not switched on. So it's a lot easier to walk up on a bear in the winter than it is in the summer, because in the summer the bears are they're hyper aware. They know exactly what's going on around them, and in the winter not so much. Right, so where I was earlier was up on the top of that hill over there, and I believe it's actually at the top of that one over there. So as you can see, this is a pretty big park. It really is, and people do underestimate it. I don't know why more people don't come here. Actually, it is a very nice park, very nice indeed. So there's loads of water around here. You'll find these little black tubes every now and again, and they're spill ports. So if there gets too much water in there, there's loads of them. They're all buried in the bushes here. When they first built this, you could see them easy, and they're just black tubes. And what they do is they run across to the other side. So if these little half moon shape, I'm trying to find you one now, can't find one. When they first built this, you could see them everywhere. If the water gets too high, it flows into the tubes, and it acts as like a natural. There's another beaver slide there. Let's see, down through the trees there. Yeah, it acts as a natural leveling device. So I will head down through this way. Not sure which way to go. I think what I'll do is I'll head down that way, because I went the other way last time. So I will head down through this way. As I've said, this is Dale Hodges Park. There's the sign there. Not sure how well that will come out, but there we go. Yeah. This gives you an overview of what, how, when and where. Control stormwater. Very, very important. Yeah. Look at a difference from when they first built it to when it is now. Yeah. Doesn't take long for nature to populate it. It really doesn't. Yeah. So that's where I came from, was the top of that hill, and that's where I'll end up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk all the way up to the far end, then up over the top. Right, on I go. Back at the water out at the site. Now when I was here the other day there was hardly any water flowing through this piece, and now there is, that's for sure. Let me just head around that way. Water levels do fluctuate very fast around here. So this was the stepping stone piece. If you saw my video the other day, this was the stepping stone piece, and there was hardly any water coming out of here at all. As you can see, there now is. Yeah. Yeah, it does change fast, that's for sure. Yeah. Got a good flow out of there now. A lot of the mud, all these rocks at the bottom, are all completely covered in mud last time, so we've had some water through there because it's washed most of the mud off. Yeah. There's a duck out in the middle there looking for lunch. Yeah. Nice. And this is what happens to the water once it's gone through all the filtration and what have you. This is where it ends up. Yeah. Flowing back into the river. Nice. I can hear the train in the background. Train always arrives when I'm not at the train end, always. Right, so I will continue. This is where I turned around last time. I turned around at this bridge last time, but what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to head up to the far end and then back up along the top. I think I'll do it that way. Yeah, yes, I think I will head back up the path that way. This is the bridge at the far end. I will head back up the path this way and go from there. Right, when you get to the far end of the path, you'll come to another nice seating area at the end here. There's a guy here who's got the best seat in the house. All you need is one of those recliner things for the feet, eh? Yeah. Yeah, when they put the berm along the other side of here, they'll actually make a nice cycle path all the way along there. That bridge down there is the old bridge that went across into the Bowness. That's used to have the streetcars used to go across that thing. Yeah, the old trams. Yeah, that's gone now. So they do still have some of the old trams in downtown Bowness. Bowness is over through that way. Yeah, when I did one of my litter picking videos the other day, this you can see the nice iron bridge just the other side of it. You can see another road bridge. That is the Trans-Canada right in the far distance there. Underneath that bridge, that's where I picked up 1,000 cigarette ends down in there. So yeah. You can, if you feel like getting wet, walk all the way along the bottom of this pathway. You can just about see the pathway that goes along the bottom, and it goes down through those trees over there and brings you out by the bridge. Yeah. Yeah, rivers do move around a lot, eh? And where I'm parked is roughly up on top of that hill over there somewhere. Yeah. So it's a good walk around. It really is a good walk around. But like I say, this is the far end of this section of path of Dale Hodges Park. There is a very nice seating area there, as you can see. See if I can get my shadow out of it. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. And this is the park. It goes off down through there. It's nice, isn't it? Now where I'm going to head back, the Trans-Canada Trail continues that way. where I'm going to head back is up the path. There is a parking lot here. Holds probably 50-60 cars, I guess, so you can park down this end if you really want to. There is a pathway that heads up the top where those people are over there near that power pole, so I'm going to head up to the top of there and I'll do some more when I get up there. I'm not sure if that camera shows the elevation gain too well, but I can tell you now it's pretty steep walking up there. Right, as you can see, it's pretty hazy out in the mountains, in as much as you can't even see them. Mountains are out that way. Isn't it amazing how the city changes? These big cranes and that you can see down in here, they are putting in the new water main. Very much needed. So many people out and about on bikes. People were telling me, oh, Calgary's not a bikeable city. Well, the people that say that don't live here. It's as simple as that. There's a guy that I work with, a guy called Randall. Everywhere I'm looking, all I can see is bikes. Yeah. He literally bikes all over the city. Yeah. There are, I believe, approaching 1,300 kilometres of cycle path, dedicated cycle path in Calgary. There is one that goes all the way around. It's called the Greenway. I can't remember how many kilometres round the Greenway is, but it is a very long way. It's a very long way. Yeah. Right, so this corner is always a nice place to stop, and I'm pretty warm now, so I'm actually going to lose a layer. Yeah. This top up here, this is the corner that used to go down into the old gravel pit. I'll show you the entrance to that. This road here is where most people come down through. This gateway here, this was the entrance to the gravel pit way back when. It's a shame you can't park down there actually, because it would make this park way more accessible for people, that's for sure. And there's a great big road, it goes all the way down there. As you can see, it's a huge road, it goes all the way down into the bottom, but they don't want too many people down in there. I guess they've had trouble with people parking in there and camping in there and all kinds of stuff with trailers and things, so yeah, I know why they closed it off. It's a bit of a pain at times. Right, so I'm going to go up here a little way. At the next bench, I'm going to lose a layer, because I can tell you now, I'm pretty warm. Right, on to the next one. So from up along the top of the hill, now back up top. It's nice up through this way. Yeah, I just saw some boats going down the river. Some kayaks went down there. This is your view from the top. Now this fence only goes along a little way. It ends just up here. This was the fence off the steepest part here. But, you can go along here. Now there are, all the way back, there are many paths that run along here. I'm just going to have a look to see how wet the paths are, because I might go along what I call the roller coaster route. I might. We'll have a look and see. Yeah, looks a bit wet down in there. So I'll just go to this corner and then I'll show you what's what down here. Yeah. Right, this path that I'm on, this one, will take you all the way along. There's parallel paths that go the other side of the fence all the way back down that way, so you can go down there. I just saw some boats head off down the river. Surprised I can't see some more actually. It's a great time for doing it. This down the bottom here, this is all Dale Hodges. The bypass creek that I was telling you about, these are all the reed beds over here. The bypass creek comes round into this nice little pond along here, flows down and then out through that gap over there. And there is also another waterway exit down here, where the main part of the creek, if it's too flooded down in there, then it's because the water is already clean, they just put it through the rebeds to make sure it's extra clean. Now the road that comes down into the gravel pit, you can see it comes down there, and down the bottom here there is actually a huge parking lot down the bottom here, enormous parking lot, but they don't use it. And like I say, they used to be open, and then they had people camping in there and all kinds of stuff. So all along here halfway up the bank, you'll see that there is a trail that goes along there. I call it the roller coaster route, and I'm just debating how wet it will be to go along there. So just go along here a little bit, see what I can see. Because if it's absolutely soaked, I'm not going to do the roller coaster route. I'll just stay on the top. It's a very nice walk along the top, and there's loads of benches. There's just off to my right, there is an off-leash dog area there. You can see this was the main road that went down through here. You can see the roller coaster route that goes across there halfway up the slope. That is a very interesting walk along there, but do be aware that you do get mountain bikers come along there, and they sometimes go pretty quick. So I think I will stay up on the top for now, and then I'm going to head that way. This gives you a better overview of the park here. As you can see, the roller coaster route, as I call it, is up and down all the way along there. You can walk along there, but let me tell you, there's a lot of up and down. Yeah, nice down through there. But from here, you can clearly see the curved shapes of the reed beds. That's where I came along this morning. Yeah. This big end up here, this piece here, always looks like they're going to do something with that. I mean, I'm not quite sure why. I'm not sure what that is. It's just got a few tree stumps in it and nothing else. I'm really not sure why they didn't continue something in there. Maybe they will over time, I don't know. But as you can see, water comes down along here underneath the bridges, and then back out into the river once it's all nice and clean. It's good, isn't it? It's a very clever system. It really is very clever. Yeah. It uses natural filtration rather than man-made filtration, and that's not a bad thing. But it's an excellent view from the top of here. There's a little structure over here. I'm just going to go and have a look at this structure and see. That used to be open years ago, but I don't believe it is now. I'm just going to go check. Right, there's an old structure along here. It did have a window in it at one point. There was a sign on there at one point that told you what it was, but I can't remember what it is now. Yeah. Yes, nearly back along the top. Head over towards the power pole. I always use this as a marker. If I'm down the bottom and I want to know which trail to come back up, I always look for this pole. You can see it from a very long ways off. Yeah. Yes, that is a very good use of an old gravel pit. Yeah. Got a rougher area down in the bottom. I've seen deer and that down in here, so that's good. Yeah. Very nice location, isn't it? Yeah. These mud banks along here, you'll find loads and loads of birds in here. The other side of that is where I started. I'm almost back to where I started now. The other side of that is full of holes. Yeah. But that is the park. Lots of water in there at the moment. Apparently we have more thunderstorms coming today, so I'm a great believer in everything happens for a reason. I was going to head out to the mountains, and where I was going to go is quite a bit of a rough area, and the car takes a bit of a bashing getting down in there, and if I'd have got down in there and broke a spring, I could have been in serious trouble. However, it broke in the city, so on my drive home, so I will take it in tomorrow and I'll get that sorted. That's not a problem. And then yeah, go from there. Isn't this a nice walk along here though? It really is. Yeah, very nice. And it's something that more cities should do. You know, it makes use of an old gravel pit, turns it into a really nice park. You can see people walking down the bottom, and I keep seeing bikes go through here and all kinds of, but it makes it for a really nice park. And you can use it as a water treatment facility as well. It's a win-win. Yeah, these birds are everywhere. Right, I'm going to continue along the top and I'll do some more in a bit. And here I am back at where I started. So what I did is I went down the path down through that valley over there. The big round pond is down in here. Cut down through all of this lot along the bottom, down along the river, back up through the pathways. That's where I got attacked by that bird there the other week. Yeah, back along the path, right up to the path at the far end. You can see the pathway goes up the hill. That's the road, the old gravel pit road, right at the far end. Back along the top here. Now I'm back to where I started. Yeah, like I say, you can go all the way down these hills. These hills are very, very steep. If you're going to go down there, make sure you've got really good footwear on. And today would not be a good day because the mosquitoes, I can tell you, down in there have suddenly woke up because we had all the rain. Yeah. As you can see, right on the pathway at the bottom there, that's the Trans-Canada Trail. There's people walking and biking along there. So that's nice. Yeah, that piece gets a lot of use because if you're heading downtown, that's actually a really nice bikeway along there. And you can head all the way downtown. You've got really nice pathways all the way down. And if you get all the way downtown, because from here obviously heading down to the city, which is up over the top of there, I can just see one of the skyscrapers through the gap. If you're heading down to the city, obviously it's all downhill. And if you don't want to pedal back up the hill on the way back, you can just jump on the C train. It's $4. Jump on the C train and it'll bring you all the way back up to the northwest, so that's good. Yeah, so you can bike down there, and if you don't fancy biking back up, just jump on the C train and hey presto, you're back. Yeah. Way off over in the distance over there, that brown colour building you can see in the distance over there is the corner building to, it's where you turn off into Bowness Park. The bridge behind it is the Stony Trail Bridge. The mountains you can normally see behind there, but as you can see today it's very hazy. Ski hill over on the top of the hill there, that's Canada Olympic Park. They got a toboggan run up there. If you ever seen the film Cool Runnings and what have you, that's where they filmed all that up there. Yeah, it's brilliant. Those hills over there with all the trees on it, that's Pascapoo Hills. Patterson Heights, and that is over that way. And that is it. I'm heading home before the mosquitoes eat me alive. You can't see them probably, but the mosquitoes are attacking me. So I'm going to say thanks for coming along. That's the extension to Dale Hodges Park. A few people did ask me if they could see more of it because a lot of people didn't even know this was here. So I've done a follow-up video. Instead of being out in the mountains with a broken car, I am in the city with a broken car. So I will head on home. Thank you for coming along.